I'm going to show you an easy and delicious recipe that I called Sweet and Smoky Recipe. I created this book for a book that I wrote the recipes for, written by Glenn Mercer, called Own Your Health. And a few years later, I met one of my dearest friends now, Lissa Maris of Raw Food Romance, and she had a very similar raw version of this recipe that she called French dressing. And it's kind of like French dressing, or maybe Catalina. I call it Sweet and Smoky dressing because it's a little bit sweet and a little bit smoky. And it's fantastic on all your salads and greens. And, you know, when you make your own dressings, you save money. It's very easy, and you don't have to put any of the unhealthy ingredients in bottle dressings like oils and sugar and salt and all those stabilizers and emulsifiers that aren't really good for your gut. So we're going to start with our blender, and I'm going to add my water. And dates are what is going to bring the sweetness to this recipe. I soak them in the water. Even though I have a high-powered blender, I know that when I soak the dates, it just is less blending time. So I just got in the habit of doing that. And then I have my lime juice. I generally use bottled organic lime juice from Santa Cruz. If you want to use fresh, that's fine. And if you are using fresh, you can even add the zest of the lime for just a little extra oomph, assuming it's organic. And then I have my mustard. I'm using Organicville, salt-free. This is a stone ground mustard. I've never tried it with Dijon, but if you do, get back to me. And my spices, which are smoked paprika, which is completely different than regular paprika, chipotle powder, not too much. Chipotle powder, when used in small amounts, isn't really that hot. Chipotle is a smoked jalapeno, and it just gives it the spicy of this. And chia seeds. I prefer white chia seeds, which you can get online in many natural food stores, because I find that the regular color chia seeds tend to darken my recipes, which, unless I'm doing something, say, with chocolate, I would rather not have. So I'm just going to blend everything together. And so then I pour it in a bottle. I have these little containers that are great for dressings, but you don't have to buy anything special. What I always do is when I use California balsamic vinegar, my favorite vinegar, I just save the bottles, wash them in the dishwasher, and then take a funnel and pour it in. This smells so good. Now, the chia seeds are a magical thickener, but they're not an instant thickener. It will thicken a little bit more as I refrigerate this dressing. And the purpose of that is just because then it will stick to your produce better. It almost always makes one full bottle, which is perfect. And, you know, this is how I give a lot of gifts of salad dressing. So I have right here just some baby arugula, and you could do anything with a salad, but I noticed that with arugula, just having a good dressing is enough for you to enjoy your greens. So I hope you try the sweet and smoky dressing. So one day I was getting ready to make my go-to salad dressing, my lemon poppy seed dressing, and I realized I was out of lemons and lemon juice. I don't live near a store anymore, so I thought, what could I substitute? At first I thought lime juice, but I thought, I don't know. So I tried it with orange juice, and the thing is, it was good, but because of the dates, it was a little bit too sweet. So this is basically my lemon poppy seed dressing tweaked a little bit. What I did to make it less sweet, rather than changing the amount of dates, which I like because it also makes it a little bit thick, was to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So I have my orange juice, apple cider vinegar, and my dates. I always soak my dates in advance, even with my high-powered blender, because that cuts down on blending time. I pour those in the blender. What's nice about many of these blenders is they're actually a measuring cup. You can measure right in them. And then my mustard, I'm using a stone ground, salt-free. And then I'm going to blend that before adding my poppy seeds. And I also have some chia seeds because it thickens it nicely so that it really sticks to your greens. This is especially good on greens like baby arugula. It's good on all salads. Just going to briefly pulse. Homemade salad dressings are so easy to make. And when you buy most salad dressings, they're full of oil, sugar, and salt. And this is much more cost effective as well. I like to save my bottles from California balsamic. I wash them in the dishwasher, and they're the perfect size for one batch of dressing. Now, as I pour it in now, you're probably saying, hey, that's not thick at all. Well, you're right. Chia seeds don't work immediately, but after a few hours in the fridge, they do work their magic. That's why chia pudding is so popular, because it thickens things like plant milk and fruit. And so there I have my orange poppy seed dressing. If you are searching for a wonderful, creamy, oil-free salad dressing to dress your salads, look no further than this creamy roasted garlic balsamic dressing. So the secret here is actually steamed cauliflower. You know, a lot of dressings get their richness and creaminess from nuts, which are great if you can eat them, but a lot of people can't or don't. They're pretty high in fat, or sometimes from beans, which also a lot of people avoid for whatever reason. But steamed cauliflower gives you that creamy mouthfeel at a really low caloric density, and you're really upping your nutrition. So in my blender, I have some water, and I'm going to add my balsamic vinegar. I am using a reduced balsamic vinegar, which is 4% acidity rather than 6. So it's sweeter, not from sugar, just from being reduced. And you can find brands often at regular grocery stores, even at Walmart. Sometimes they're known as balsamic glaze. You can also make your own just by reducing any balsamic vinegar. If you don't mind that sharper, kind of more sour taste, you can use a regular thinner balsamic vinegar, but I really do prefer the reduced in all my recipes. And you can even use a flavored one like a California balsamic in 7-herb Italian. So what we're going to add next is our steamed cauliflower. This was actually rice cauliflower, but truthfully, you could just take frozen cauliflower and defrost it. That's that easy if you don't want to steam it yourself. And then we have a little bit of mustard. I'm using a salt-free stone ground. We have our beautiful roasted garlic, which I roasted in an air fryer, and it's still creamy, just like roasted garlic that you would do in the oven, but in a fraction of the time. Roasted garlic is much mellower than fresh garlic. And then my herbs are some Italian seasoning. And then I'm just going to blend. Oh, this smells wonderful. And then I just use the bottle. Look how thick this is. It will really stick to your greens. I love to save the bottles, and I often give homemade salad dressing as gifts to people. So creamy. Whoops. So a little bit more can get in there. It makes just like one perfect bottle with a little bit left on the side. So this is creamy roasted garlic balsamic dressing.